So an uneven interval gets you an interesting soundtrack. Well, that's all well and good, but it's bad for engine balance. It's bad for engine balance because an even firing interval is one of the key prerequisites for a smooth, balanced engine. An uneven firing interval increases engine vibrations, and then you have to combat this by making the engine stiffer and heavier, and ultimately increased vibrations can reduce the engine's power potential. So we have to ask ourselves, why in heaven's name would Yamaha build this engine? It seems that it sacrifices so much to get so little. It sacrifices perfect primary balance, weight, and simplicity in order to get better secondary balance, which really isn't that important on a small displacement engine because the piston masses are low, so the difference between top and bottom half of the stroke forces is also low, and it also gets a distinct soundtrack. But I mean, come on, who would sacrifice all this for a soundtrack and better secondary balance? There must be something else to it. Well, there is, and the deal is that sometimes getting a bunch of disadvantages is worth it if you get one key advantage. And sometimes something that looks like a disadvantage might not be a real disadvantage in the real world. In fact, it might actually be an advantage. So the year is 1992 and the motorcycle is a two-stroke legend of MotoGP, the Honda NSR 500. And in this year it was unveiled with a brand new firing interval that will later get the name Big Bang. So the engine in the NSR 500 is a two-stroke V4 engine, which means that when it has a regular firing interval, a cylinder fires every 90 degrees of crankshaft rotation. But for this year, it was unveiled with an absurdly irregular firing interval. The pistons were made to fire simultaneously in pairs. Two would fire at 68 degrees of rotation and the other two at 292 degrees of crankshaft rotation. So instead of four equally spaced smaller bangs, we get two big bangs in pretty quick succession, hence the name Big Bang. This is contrasted to the term screamer, which describes the soundtrack of the even fire engine. And just like with our modern R1, the uneven firing interval introduced on the NSR 500 increased vibrations and reduced power output, but somehow magically led to reduced lap times. It might seem counterintuitive that a reduced power can result in better lap times, but we must remember something important. MotoGP machines have more power than they can actually use. This is true today, and it was true back in the 90s with the brutally accelerating, mostly analog two-stroke machine.
More power, which you don't need, which you basically don't need. So you have power. Creating power is not everything. You need also one advantage. What could that be? Which is not power.
Which were difficult to handle for even the most experienced of riders. This excessive power is usually most noticeable during corner exit, where in many corners a MotoGP machine cannot apply full power during corner exit, because applying all the power would actually lead to a loss of control, sliding, and actually a slower corner exit. Instead, the rider must carefully judge the amount of throttle applied to exit the corner as fast as possible to reduce sliding and to keep the bike at the very ideal limit of traction. This means that for a MotoGP machine, power usability can be more important than the maximum power output. In some cases, power usability can even mean the difference between quickly exiting the corner or ending in a high side like this one. As you can see, this is bad, and the rider ends flying over the handlebars of the motorcycle, which obviously nobody wants. Now, people who watched MotoGP back in the day of the 500cc two-strokes will tell you that high sides happened a bit more often before than they do today, mostly due to the analog and brutal nature of the two-strokes. But there was a time when actually high sides peaked in MotoGP and were very common. And this happened when the bikes transitioned away from bias ply tires onto radial tires. Now, a radial tire is ultimately better. It has more grip and it allowed motorcycles to become a lot faster. But a bias ply tire has an advantage for the rider in the sense that it transitions more gradually from full grip to full sliding. This gradual transition allows the rider to feel the limit of traction approaching and react appropriately. In contrast to this, a radial tire grips like crazy only to suddenly let go. And then it's gonna grip again, but by the time it grips again, it's gonna be too late and it almost always ends in a high side. The problem is that with a radial tire, the transition from full grip to no grip can happen so quickly that human perception simply cannot detect it. By the time the rider senses the limit of grip, it can often be too late. So the newly introduced radial tires, together with the brutal nature of the two-stroke machines, resulted in a very high number of high sides. Although it feels that way, the power delivery, the power output of an engine isn't really a single constant thing. It's a series of short, quick power pulses. So the power from the engine is delivered to the tire via the chain in the form of many little pulses. And Honda decided to manipulate this to enable the bike to be easier to control and have better corner exit. So an evenly firing engine looks like this on the tire. These are the individual power pulses as sensed by the tire. But the Big Bang engine looks like this. As you can see, between the large individual pulses, we have a lot of space where the tire is essentially freewheeling. There are no additional power pulses sent to the tire.
Again, as for the ABS, what in this list of videos I tried to explain about how much those interval gaps actually matter into controlling usually the rear wheel, which you can lock going downhill on the ice, on the gravel, on the road with a road bike with that much of a tire width. It's very small. Usually in wet, the discussion is that disc brakes usually have more power, and they can even though they have a better feel, that more power can be dangerous because can lock the wheel very fast on a wet condition road. Again, the tire, if slips, it's usually better to be able to correct it fast, not to have 1/4 or almost 1/2 of the tire dead, unable to respond to your command, or just moving by itself without any impulse, as driving for answers try to tell about his topic.
Now
let's see also the crossplane, what he came because it's not about sound, it's not about power, it have more vibrations. So why Yamaha developed and implemented this thing to, of course, reduce crashing and to improve control, not power, man, power.
Silent gaps can also be called recovery gaps, and they're absolutely critical for the tire because they give the tire time and room to recover and re-grip. And this is absolutely key for the rider too, although obviously a human cannot detect a single recovery gap between two engine power pulses. They do stack up and they do create space for the rider at the limit of traction that enables him to better feel the limit of traction. In contrast to this, the even firing Screamer engine isn't really giving the tire any room to breathe, if you will. It subjects the tire to a constant, even barrage of power pulses. Obviously, this barrage of power pulses is also going to continue when the tire starts to slide even a bit. So it starts to slide a bit, power pulses continue, and they simply push the tire further out of control very quickly. Now, many people also call the Yamaha R1 engine a Big Bang engine, but it isn't a Big Bang engine in the real traditional sense of the word. An example of that is the Kawasaki ZX-RR race from 2002 to 2008 in the MotoGP. It's also an inline-4, but it's constructed to fire two cylinders almost simultaneously and then rotate a lot and then fire the other two cylinders. And as you can see, its firing interval looks a lot more absurd than the firing interval of the Yamaha R1, and it's miles away from the even firing interval of Screamer engines. So the R1 isn't your real Big Bang engine, but it has the same goal. It has the goal of allowing the rider to better feel the limit of traction. It simply aims to strike a compromise between the absurd vibrations of a true Big Bang and the massive power delivery and efficiency of a real Screamer. So if it's so great for better sensing the limit of traction, why did other manufacturers not adopt the crossplane design in their production sports bikes? Well, the reason is that it does require a lot of additional engineering, and it does increase the weight, and it does increase the cost of the bike. And also because the benefits of the crossplane design are realized at the very limit of the motorcycle, the question is raised about how many regular buyers are actually capable of pushing a bike like the R1 to its very limit. An additional factor is that Yamaha had the most experience and practice with the crossplane design starting in 2002, so of course they had less R&D and less costs involved into putting the motorcycle into mass production. And the limit of traction aside, the very term crossplane and the very distinct soundtrack of the bike helps set it apart from its competitors, which definitely helps sales. So why did R6 never go crossplane? Well, this very question is what journalists asked R1 project lead Mr. Toyoshi Nishida soon after the release of the crossplane R1. Would the R6 get the same technology? Well, Mr. Nishida responded by saying that the R6 really doesn't have the excessive power of the leader bike, and racers in the R6 class usually exit the corner at full throttle. This means that the benefits of the crossplane design really wouldn't be realized in the R6 because most of the benefits of the crossplane are realized at part throttle. The leader bike simply can't floor it out of the corner because it has too much power. The R6 doesn't really have that much power to cause it to slide as easily, and on top of that, the added balancing shafts, engine weight, and stiffness would simply sap power away from the R6. Hence, it never got the crossplane because it really didn't need it. And there you have it.
So, as you can maybe understand, or let's joke a bit, don't install crossplane system on your bicycle because maybe that's too much for you or you don't need. That's the joke. The point is the next one. Maybe it's counterintuitive. It works in reverse on the bicycle. It is more like an ABS. So the more section you have to your dispose as for the ABS. Anyways, I made a mistake. Those rounded plates of ABS doesn't stop actually 48 times in a complete circle, but the sensor basically reads that thing, and maybe it unlocks the wheel, whoever manufacturer decide better, once at 3 gaps, once at 4, maybe in the future possible even one at each step. But as you see here, the actual engineers test the rotation of the wheel in a specific power output, in a specific bike weight, in a specific lean angle or track situation or real situation, whatever. So everything depends on a lot of factors, which are not always just engineering factors. As you saw, the Yamaha made this possible because they played with this thing since 2002, and other manufacturer maybe didn't wanted to invest those amounts of money into this technology, and of course they competed with a different approach. also from an engineering standpoint, also about money point of view. So yeah, this is the mistake I made in the video, that I counted 48 or 50 on the entire wheel, and I actually thought that on each one of these gaps the wheel basically is released, but no, it can be released. I'm not that into this ABS, but if it's possible, why not a good sensor to be able to release at least at two spaces, or in future with even smaller spaces, with faster response, even at one space, at one actual space, with improving this technology. Anyways, I mentioned this because I thought about and I explored a bit more after I made the video to actually see how the ABS looks into the slow motion, and the best I could observe was in a low quality, let's say, video of an Bengali, whatever, again, quad piston, two piston. You can see on a motorcycle, much bigger, much heavier, much faster. So again, this I tried to just avoid talking about in detail, but I presented what I presented in that video about the possibility to have more control with the two piston in the back, only from the size of pads. Where is that video? It's incredible. It's slow motion. Maybe this one. Let's make it even slower, because yesterday I couldn't observe that much or that well. Let's see what this guy with no helmet show us, and how the front wheel is locked and released. The rear wheel, anyway. You can see on the rear wheel much better. Now, I think. Or now. Here. 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 So basically I don't think the sensor actually read each one spot, but at least you got the idea that it's important to be able to lock or release the wheel. As for crossplane, screamer, based on a on real things, not on marketing or just BS. Make the rear wheel, the rear disc bigger, make put their 4 piston and go. That doesn't work. You need to make sure on what you make. One more video about motorcycles. This one I think I should presented yesterday, because I said I don't use the front brake, and I make a connection into my mind from a video of Nidia Nazo which I also recommend. His channel is Idin Video. Best or one of the best Americans into street riding. In my opinion, better than that famous, you know, Max Rist, famous rich community subscribers, whatever, dummy, which a lot of members of his community actually contest, because he not only rides dangerous for him, but he also put his own guys and the rest of the people in a big problem, not just, you know, from the activity, but to create views for the other ones to just crash. So he make content for this thing. Big dislike. Watch Nidia Nazo, which is a real deal underground, underrated, or just true to himself rider and human being, with the compromises where they need to be, which risk what needs to be risked, or what he basically assume to risk, but in the rest of the actual serious stuff, he doesn't bend down to be rode by idiots who are fans, who are subscribers, who sponsor, who sell his bike, who borrow his bike, into a vicious circle of fame, of views, and another, in my opinion, stupid activities. Which is, of course, not about speed on the street, which is about how you do it, or what you know at the end of the day. This is the part I wanted to present actually, or to mention in my videos I showed about 4-piston brakes. But let's see what this champion has to say about, this time, the rear brake. A lot of guys, of course, use the rear brake. They actually found more comfortable and more safe to ride with the rear brake, and it actually work. And they also use a hand thumb rear brake, so they have both rear brake at the right foot, or either at the thumb button. But this rider, for him, created this style, and of course, if he won, it worked.
But for example, in Superbike, I personally am not a big fan of the rear brake. I won the world title in 2014 without touching the rear brake, not even one time during the season. I never touched it. Not rear braking doesn't mean that you can't go fast. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think the point here is that you have to do whatever feels comfortable.
Rear tyre, that means that's the standard SC0 rear tyre, the one that we've been using for most of the season, but that looks like it's the SC0 tyre as well, so all of the riders in World Superbikes are using to try and generate information and data for Pirelli. It then becomes a tyre that's actually able to be sold on the road. So for track day users, when you turn up at any track day, you tend to see an awful lot of the same tyres that are used in more or less the UK. When you're out there on a track day, you know you've got the same tyre underneath you. As Alvaro Bautista, when you go to a lot of track days, you do see an awful lot of things available to paying customers, and that's the benefit that Pirelli get out of being involved in this championship.
Just few moves from Nidia Nazo, so you can see what he make, because I'm a big fan and I support and I appreciate and I'm inspired by how he writes, how he builds, how he study, all these tiny details, and how he's silent, not loud, not an idiot like Max Rist. And let's enjoy some of his moves, because he's actually one of the best in this segment, even though, as you can see, 22,000 subscribers. In my opinion, for me, this is more sweet, let's say. It is even more rewarding to find content like this with not that much a community of course, retards, idiots, kids. It is more enjoyable, and you feel more connected, or I feel more connected with someone who put the effort, who actually is silent and do the thing, not for views, but for the curiosity, or the discipline, or for the duty he feels inside, and he's doing that very, very, very good. Yet that number of visualization doesn't change anything to him, to his content, and maybe, why not, a lot of money, or a lot of that fake of a community actually giving him false impression, or pushing him from the back, as Maxorist you saw, can lead to either injure yourself, either injure a lot of other people, just to make the snowball keep moving once you started it. So yeah, even though it's a small channel, in my opinion, it's a much better channel. By the way, first time I thought, what is this crappy bike, whatever, yeah, it's a crappy bike. He upgraded with Eolins, front and rear, titanium exhaust. These all are carbon fiber with Kevlar goodies. He have frames, engines spare in case he crash, to keep going on. This is the I think 2006 model, or 5, whatever. But the idea is he doesn't use, as we saw before, the crossplane, the whatever. He's riding smooth, no ABS, no traction control. As you can see here, 3-piston front. On the back, I think he deleted the rear brake. Yeah, it seemed to me that he doesn't use rear brake, because otherwise I couldn't explain myself why he
The rear brake. I won the world title in
mentioned this legend, this guy, this rider. So again, no disc in the back, as the drag racers usually do. They reduce the weight, so the bike can accelerate just a bit faster, but for them it matters. Without the disc, it actually reduced the whole bike weight with whatever a brake can, a brake lever and a caliper weight. But anyways, this here, even if it's taped, it's whatever made in-house, custom. It's an incredible machine, and the guy, because he's not the machine, it's his tool, it's his body, it's his extension. It's incredible. Watch for yourself, and let's support if you feel this awesome rider, because he deserve more.
Yeah, sick.
I'm actually really sorry to interrupt this masterpiece. We will come back to the end of this day with Nidia Nazo for the rest of the video. I just paused to show you this 4 minutes MotoGP different opinion about the rear brake. The previous racer was in 2014 World Superbike champion. These guys are in MotoGP 3 years ago, so 2021. Big difference in power, in years. And to this specific video, the opinion is that the rear wheel is actually very important. Why I made this mention? Because we're almost at 2 hours with the length of this video, and of course it will sooner or later stop. It's also late, so we will see tomorrow from the same point. This was a joy of an introduction, but the idea, as I said, this is a video dedication of the best for me family, my mother, my father, my brother, for you also, those who actually think in this way, or just live in this way, or guide yourself in this true way, experimental thinking again, and not letting yourself to be pushed by the wind from the left or the right. So this is all I actually managed to show you today. more in the next episode. Maybe we will maybe nothing. We will try next time to keep the same quality level, but until then, let's end this with this MotoGP rider and Nidiananzo, which hopefully will receive a few likes from here because he deserves. So visit his account, watch his videos, and get inspired from him, not from those superficial famous influencers. MotoGP.
We have two brakes on the bike. First of all, you need the rear brake because for the rules. Because in case something happen, not let's say normal riding, front brake is missing, then it's something as emergency, let's say rear brake. But rear brake is become.
So we are more into the, or I am more into the category of what they say about the rear brake for the bicycle, not for the MotoGP. The rear brake for bicycle is very important. For me, not in general at the mountain, not enduro, not downhill, but just in city. I showed you the pads. They're almost brand new. I rarely use big or strong front brakes, but you analyzing and trying to improve both your hardware and your software by understanding with practice and smart solutions, you can find yourself what works for you, exactly as everyone usually try to do to improve and to find the best is for them.
Becomes more important in the latest days riding a motorcycle.
For sure, when you brake with the rear brake, the balance of the bike is different because you can maybe the rear stays a bit more on the ground and it's helpful for braking, but also for turning sometimes it's helpful because when you touch the rear brake, the bike turns a little bit more, and even in acceleration, sometimes if it's getting some wheelie, with the rear brake you can keep the bike lower.
Sometimes it's not enough the front brake to stop the bike. So you need also the rear brake to use some more the rear back torque to reduce the speed of the bike. And also we are using rear brake to control the setting of the bike, let's say the position of the bike while riding.
We use it on the right foot normally. Also in the past it was only on the right foot, but now with all the developments of the bikes, now we are also using on the hand, and yeah, it's also helping out.
We discovered that using thumb brakes is important to control the stability of the bike. First of all, because of thumb brakes is not powerful, let's say there's a fit, but it's more regular how you apply the force, so it's more stable. A rear foot brake is affected by the bumps and the movement of the bike, so the pressure is not stable. By hand is very much more stable.
Exactly as I said, as I presented you into the yesterday series about 4-piston. So if you go on rocky stuff and you have big calipers with big power, with whatever, maybe you just touched and unbalanced the bike. The same thing applies to this situation where the rear can bump into your foot, so you with your strong foot can apply a force on that brake. Of course, with foot, with a thick rubber on your whatever it's called, on your feet, you feel less than with a finger, with a thumb, with whatever. And also with the front, which on that track, which is a road track, not off-road track, with the hand, of course, you feel more and you are more consistent. So these words, feel consistent, you should with balance, control, you should always have in mind, and to put exactly either at the same level with the power, because there is no one better than the other, exactly as with stiffness or compliance. You want a frame, for example, to be stiff, carbon stiff, or you want it to absorb more of the vibrations. For suspension, exactly the same. For years and years and years, the suspension technology is exactly between two extremes. You make it stiffer, you make it more soft, more compliant. On the compression, on the rebound, doesn't matter. Two position for compression, low speed, high speed. Two position for rebound, two speed, it doesn't matter. Preload, doesn't matter. Stiffness or more soft, more compliant. More control, more power. Less power, more control.
Sometimes I put my leg out for the balance of the braking, and in that point I'm not using the rear brake. So leg out for the balance of the braking, and in that point I'm not using the rear brake. So thanks to the thumb rear brake, I am able also to use it. And normally, yeah, I combine the two. Maybe in the same corner, I try to combine rear brake with the foot and also with the thumb.
Why not? If it
Here in
works.
Misano, I'm gonna tell you some parts where I touch the rear brake. Here we arrive in corner number 4. You can see my hand that is touching the thumb brake, because when I put the leg out, I need some help in that moment. Yeah, look here, you can see a little bit. Just on corner 4, because of the position, you can see my thumb that is touching the thumb brake. Now we arrive into corner 7. Here also I touch a lot with the foot. It's difficult to make the perfect pressure because it's a bit irregular, as I told you, but it's important to stop the bike. Here we arrive into corner 12. It's a really fast corner, and here I touch it also with even if it's right, with the foot. Here sometimes when there are some bumps with the right foot, maybe you also move the foot because of the bumps, and then the bike becomes a bit unstable.
Bike's moving all the time. So applying the force on the rear brake, the rear end of the bike become more stable, let's say. But of course, it's the way how much you push, because can be some collateral effect, side effect. And sometimes if you push too much, you can even upset the bike and get it more nervous and more movement.
Exactly the same extreme example as I have the genius idea to show you with those guys who crashed 1,000 guys, whatever, at Mega Avalanche, going on ice and asking yourself, in general, not in that crash, how much power I need to put more can make things worse, and not just worse, I mean slow, but disastrous. So in that case, maybe just to think always about smaller or less can be better, or can be faster or safer, or can I with my technique make it work, because that guy said he sometimes use the thumb hand rear brake, sometimes he use his foot. So it depends on how you adapt, how you feel. Again, feel, not what the bike or the system, whatever power it offers. Oh, it's most powerful. Oh, nice. I want two of them. I want all of them. Take my money. I buy them all.
Many years ago, I remember Mick Doohan introduced because he cannot use the right foot, because he was injured. But honestly, in the MotoGP, it appears to be useful, let's say, last 10 years, more and more. Because it's the way also how riding style, there is evolution in the riding style.
In the past, not every rider used the rear brake. Also, for my side, I didn't use it in the past. But after my big injury in Germany in 2017, I had to put the foot in a different way. So then I tried, and I actually liked. And then from then, I saw that using the rear brake is much better for everything. So it's really important for be fast. We have to understand very well the balance between the front and the rear brake. It's not easy, but at the end, with all the experience and all the years, I am trying to learn these kind of things.
Alright, try to understand, try to learn, try to practice. Nidianazo is your end. It's your end. Dedicated to Nidianazo. By the way, no copyrights. Visit his account, visit his videos, watch them, enjoy them, like them, and subscribe. Oh, I wasn't subscribed. Ring that bell. Ooh. Oh my god. Scary. By the way, this component here is carbon fiber made with Kevlar. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. Usually watching R1 05, 07, 08. This one is a piece of metal, but as you can see, this guy made his or bought his a carbon one, which is the salt and the pepper. Carbon fiber. Carbon. Cabron. Titanium.
Step into Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises.
Alright, we will continue, of course, with Nidia Nazo, but I just took a moment to show you a 4-minute video from him, which is very, 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 very interesting, beautiful, sweet, extreme. Just a mention what I said before. Visit his channel, Dan the Fireman. He's also medic, I think. He knows medicine about how to intervene in a crash situation. So he saved the lives of the ones who crash in general, but also for motorcycles. So he's actually really useful to visit. Not extreme, but you see here how he comment in general max risk stupid actions.
So he's gonna be riding in the map.
Because I said before, the famous guys are crap.
Risty did. I guess that's his name. Risty here. We're gonna be talking about what the rider behind him did. Now, there's not much he could have done in the first part of it, but we're gonna go see what happens. So he's probably really pissed off, but he won't say anything because he doesn't want to antagonize Max Risk or any of his followers. But I don't really care. I'll do that.
Well
We're
done.
gonna go ahead and lift the bike.
I do too.
Okay, let's see what happens here. That's pretty much it. Let's see if there's any injuries.
What'd you do? You brake too late? I heard a skid. I heard a skid.
Way to blame the other person. That is called shaming. Let's take a quick look. So we're having a lot of fun. Remember, there's more people in this group ride. Okay, so when you're out riding with a group of friends and group of people, you're going to be in a different kind of mindset. You're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about that group mentality. You're thinking about how can I be a part of this group versus how do I be an individual. So we're going to have a bunch of people riding in this group trying to keep escalating, keep improving, and trying to impress everybody. And just take a quick look and try to think about this.
Oh, look at
Because
me,
when
look
you're
at
with
me.
somebody, when you're with a group of friends and you have that one friend that's really you look up to, you think he's really cool, she's really cool, you're having a great
look
time,
at
and
me. Oh,
it's like, I want to
cool.
be like that person.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think all these people are doing when they're meeting up with Max Risk? What do you think they're
Risk,
doing?
no risk. Risk.
They're trying to be like him, okay? And then you start getting impressionable young people here that are barely riding, have been riding, whatever it is, to take extra risks. Now, being a smart rider is that you're going to go ahead and recognize and understand hazard situations. And when you start having that mentality, peer pressure, you start running into issues where you're not really thinking like that. So, like I said, we do talk about that in our academy. Make sure you guys check it out. So that's kind of the mindset a lot of people are in. That's the mindset that person's in, trying to keep up. Max Risk is behind him, kind of pushing him a little bit.
Risk.
We don't see anybody behind or in front for a while, so maybe he's getting pushed, maybe he's out in the front, whatever it is, and then Max Risk got a little upset and wanted to pass. So we're gonna go ahead and see, we're going 60-ish miles an hour throughout all of this. So there's some breakage right there, he's braking a little bit. Okay, we got some road surface hazards there. So start thinking about the mentality here, everybody. Look at the road, not very good. So if you did go off the road here, you're gonna hit a tree. Look at the body positioning here. Is that somebody in the more experienced?
No.
Is this somebody that has experience, or is this somebody that's pushing the bike down, not using appropriate body positioning? If you watch Moto-Jitsu or anybody like that, you know that that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Yamaha Champions Club and everything. Okay, looks like Max Risk is getting a little impatient here. Wants
Risk.
to pass him up.
Risk.
Okay, this is where we're gonna go ahead and choose to pass him up, going 71 real quick. And we got this right here, 83 miles per hour. 83 miles per hour. We have a signage here, so that means it's gonna be a nice little squiggles. Okay, we have a right turn, left turn coming up. Now, sharp right, sharp left is typically like this, so it's not gonna be as sharp. It is something that you can do, but definitely not at 80 miles per hour. So we're gonna go ahead and pass up before the turn. Now, as a brand new rider, you should be looking into possibly slow press and roll. We need to slow down before the turn. That's what was it Risty? I don't care. They're
Risk.
both the same people to me. I know I'm gonna piss off some people here, but you're supposed to slow down before the turn. Now he's gonna be calling out this guy that's gonna crash and say, what, you didn't slow down, you didn't brake, you broke too late? Well, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. So we get in front of him. We're gonna have to slow down ourselves. We went from 80, barely passing. You can see him in the mirror right over there. And now we're gonna keep slowing down to 50. There's the little skid. Okay, so we hear the skid. We got in front of the person real quickly. We had to move over. I'm talking in terms of Max Risk.
Risk.
One of them. And we caused a little skid ourselves. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's look at our skid. Okay, rear wheel. We lost a little traction. Okay, we were locking up the brakes or we were doing something, and we lost a little traction ourselves on the rear tire. Okay.
As I said, need the Anazo. As you see here, not even rear brake. Alright. So we're talking about a different breed. This is a clown, of course. Not Dan the fireman you visit. Alright, no copyrights. He's an awesome guy, but we know we talk about Max. Risk.
Not too bad, not too bad. We handled it. We're still up, right?
Yeah,
Max
yeah.
is still up. Risky, whatever their name is still
Risk.
up. We have a vehicle coming over here. Maybe that caused a little panic. Maybe we had to like move over because we couldn't use both lanes like Max Risk likes to do. If you've seen any of his Instagram videos, he's using all lanes all over the place, basically going straight on a bunch of curves because he's using all the lanes. And now we go down to 27. We didn't just do 27 because we thought something happened behind us. We went down to 27.